This video was made possible by our generous supporters on Patreon. Check out patreon.com/NWR for all the details.
Hey everyone, this is Neil from Nintendo World Report, and I'm here to talk to you about the multiplayer options in Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics on Nintendo Switch. It's out now, across the world, and it's got 51 games, like the name says, although technically there's at least 52, because the piano's there, but it's kind of just a toy, and there's a lot of variants on everything, so 50 plus might be a more apt term as 51 on the dot. There's the piano, and the piano is like a 50-second thing. It's cool. Anyway, for multiplayer, the online and multi-system local play is really strong. But the single-screen party game potential might be a little limited. It's, a little bit buyer beware, like you gotta know what you're getting into. So that's why we want to just show you what your options are with Clubhouse Games as far as its multiplayer potential, if you're curious. So let's start with single-system play to begin with. We'll just take you quickly through the single-player stuff. Everything's playable. There's a couple solitaire things here at the bottom that they can only be played single-player. Then you have single system, there's with touch and with Joy-Con. So let's go in there and we'll show you what you have. As you can see, basically it's everything except for those solitaire games that I pointed out, as well as some of the card games that can only be played in multi-system settings. There are a few that can't be played in touch, like for example, Blackjack can't be played in touch, and a lot of the sports games like toy curling, toy baseball, those have to be played with a controller and they can't be played on a touch screen. But for the most part, there's a lot of options here. But then we start to get to the problems, which is we'll go to single system and 3 players. So we got 3 people going in. There are 3 games. You can only play Blackjack, Ludo, or Chinese checkers. That's it. They're all turn-based games. Blackjack, it's you're playing the dealer. You're not really playing other people. You're kind of betting against the dealer in tandem. But those are your 3-player options locally. For 4 players, let's see. There's probably more there, right? Let's see. No, there's only 2, because Chinese checkers is a 3-player game. So you can only play Blackjack or Ludo if you're going to play 4-player local, only on one system. All you can do is Blackjack or Ludo. So that's a little disappointing. We'll bop over to online, so you can play with friends. You can chat if you really want to. Look, it's going to tell us. It's going to wait for it to load. Use the app if you want to. It could be fun. But you can play with anyone. You can challenge players along the world. There's a time limit, so make sure you know what you're doing. Don't go play Hanafuda for the first time online. But basically, all of the games are accessible online. Mixture of 2-player, 3-player, and 4-player games. The only ones that aren't are the ones that it's like the Mosaic mode games and the solitaire games, which Mosaic mode we'll get to in a little bit. But now I'm going to need a little time to set up, so we're going to cut away and then come right back. So here we are in the local play lobby. So right now I'm going to hop onto it using my wife's Switch Lite, which she only has the Guest Pass, which is a free demo that you can download on the eShop. It costs you no money, hence the term free. And you can play 4 games right out of the box with that. You can play 4 in a row, which is Connect 4, Dominoes, President, which if you're like me, you might have played it under a different pejorative name when you were in high school. And there's also slot cars, can be played without anything else. You just get them in the free demo. But you can also join someone else's with the full game and basically play download play. If you remember the DS, there was that way of kind of like freely playing multiplayer games with only one person owning the game. And in this case, only one person owns the game. And you get a pretty wide selection of games to choose from. It's basically all of them except for the solitaire games, which there's those 4, and then the 4 Mosaic mode games, piano, fishing, slot cars, and team tanks. But everything else can be played with multiple systems, including all of the card games, which can't be played on the same system. This is probably the best way to play Clubhouse Games in the comfort of your own home, is make sure you have multiple switches. It's a pretty big demand and a bold move from Nintendo, trying to increase people that want to play Mahjong without needing all the tiles. You can then play some Hanafuda with a friend, as long as you all have switches and are living in the same house. You can also play all this stuff online. So there's a lot of options to play Clubhouse Games in multiplayer if you have multiple switches in a household or multiple switches nearby, or also online. If you are playing this on one system, if you're like living with your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your significant other, maybe it's a good game for the 2 of you to play. You can do some touch screen fun. You can just each grab a Joy-Con, share the joy however you want, playing a wide assortment of these games locally. But if you're like at home, you got a family, multiple roommates, and you're looking for some 3 or 4 player action on the TV, make sure everybody has their own Switch, because Clubhouse Games is not the game for that. But anyway, that's this. So enjoy Clubhouse Games. There is also going to be an article on our website, NintendoWorldReport.com, that you can just look at a list of all of the games that are playable in each of the different options, online, locally, all that jazz. Thanks for watching. I hope this helps. Bye.
This video was made possible by our generous supporters on Patreon. Did you know that Nintendo World Report is funded directly by fans like you? When you support Nintendo World Report on Patreon, you get immediate access to multiple exclusive podcasts every month, exclusive Discord channels, an early look at select content, and more, all for as little as $1 a month. Check out patreon.com/NWR for all the details.